All right, Lon, let's turn it to the offense. I believe that you were here last week or maybe the week before letting us know that you felt as though Max Johnson would win the job, correct? He'd eventually win the job, but you still think it's up in the air.
Yeah. I mean, I believe both. I believe Max is the guy with the intangibles. I think it goes beyond just raw football ability, quarterbacking talent. I think Max has something up here that's just, you can't really dictate. You can't really underestimate. You can't really anticipate. The way he carries himself in the offense, the way he's able to switch things up, the protections. I've seen some really valuable things that have helped him out of sacks or pressures that I've seen other quarterbacks on this team just run themselves right into. He hasn't been given as much freedom with audibles and things like that as Miles Brennan, of course, who's more seasoned as a veteran quarterback. But he's been given definitely a longer leash than many would suspect for, I guess, a redshirt freshman he would be with the extra year. But, he had those 2 starts, and not beyond those 2 starts, he came in and cleaned up a lot of games for us. I just think Max, every time he came in, there's something positive, something epic happening for LSU. Still, he's got to clean up the turnovers. There's some turnovers in spring, but here's the thing. There was bigger plays than the turnovers. But, it's still such an early race, Mark. You got Garrett Nussmeier being talked about. And when I see him, I see, maybe not Joe Burrow quite yet, where everything just looks so perfect, but more maybe like Johnny Manziel is the comparison I've heard. And it's like, that is perfect, Johnny Manziel, because he is just flying around. He's anticipating all of these pressures. He knows how to use guys' momentum against themselves and get around those blitzers. It's incredible what he does. Garrett Nussmeier, I don't know if he'll start as freshman, but could I say I'd be surprised with that kid's talent? I wouldn't be, but it would be it'd be a crazy story. It'd be awesome. TJ Finley, there's a lot of positivity coming out of him. It's got to be cleaning up the turnovers, number one. But number 2, he's dropped some weight. He looks leaner. He looks more. His arm has always been strong, but he's putting more power, more oomph, more speed. He's putting more in purpose into his passing. Let's put it that way. He's putting more intent into his passing. Some absolutely killer intent in his passing, and he's a guy who can really move the chains of the offense really well, but if I'm going to go for a guy that's the complete package, it's got to be Max Johnson. We'll see at the spring game. It'll be very interesting who shows out the most and that type of thing. But, once again, it's very deceiving.
So there's a couple guys elsewhere on the offense at the skill position players that you're high on that have shown quite a bit here during the spring sessions. We got Tyrion Davis-Price. We got Devontae Lee at the wideout position, tight end.
Oh yeah. Devontae Lee, this guy, I mean, he's just making some really just jaw-dropping catches, Mark. You heard it from a lot of people, not just me. You heard it from Coach O. You heard it from Derek Stingley Sr., but the footage will tell the tale. And when people see him make, maybe he's not going to make a 80-yard bomb catch, jaw-dropping touchdown. But what he's going to do is just what I said a second ago, move the chains of that offense and keep things running. It's just unbelievable after the catch as well. He's a hard guy to tackle. This guy was moved back and forth from wide receiver to linebacker. Wide receiver when he came in as a freshman, 2019, part of that 2019 team, hardly used in that receiving core, of course, because of all the stacks and stacks of talent.
They were pretty good, weren't they? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Oh yeah. They're pretty good. But that guy. That Devontae Lee, he's making some circus catches after a year of just uncertainty where he was flipped and flopped from all these different positions, from receiver, back to linebacker, back to receiver when the need was there, back to linebacker. It was crazy. He was even changing numbers during the season to make sure that eligibility. It was nuts, Mark. But finally, I think he has a home, and I'm not sure if the Eric Gilbert thing is going to pan out at this moment. I think Devontae Lee is there for that reason, because I was under the understanding that Devontae Lee was going to be a linebacker this year, and he was excited about that because he was a badass linebacker in high school. Coach Orgeron once said in the state title game that he won in his senior year, he was the best player on the field defensively, and he was also a showcase at receiver. He's making those brilliant skyscraping catches, Mark. And he's a guy who's going to move those chains. And then you got someone like Keyshawn Butte who's going to take it to the house on a drop of a hat. But then you got walk-on Jack Mashburn, baby. Jack Mashburn, baby. Woo! Number 30, Jack Mashburn. This guy could be interesting.
Why Jack Mashburn getting all the love? You love your LSU Tigers. You're going through like 25 names, and then all of a sudden you hit us over the head with Jack Mashburn.
Because there's some guys who just don't get enough love in this world, and Jack Mashburn is one of them. This guy has been with the team for a while. He's been a governor of absolute deceit. He's been a brilliant DB enforcer. I mean, this guy, he goes in there, he smashes people in the face. Really, that's what he was doing. He was understudy to Torrey Carter in a way last year. But now I'm seeing him running routes in a lot of different practices. I'm seeing him doing a lot of interesting things in scrimmages where they're moving him around all over the place, using him as a fullback, using him in tosses, giving him the ball up the middle on the goal line, throwing it to him in the flat, motioning him out wide, doing all sorts of stuff with this guy. I don't know what his future holds. I don't know how many places there are in this receiving core or on this offense for a guy like Jack Mashburn. But what I see out of this team, if a guy like Jack Mashburn is kicking ass and taking names, coming in there with the lunch pail mentality, then Coy Moore catching 6,600 passes a month ago. People like that. Trey Palmer, who's supposed to really hit this year, receiver. He's always been a stunning kick returner, punt returner, but everyone's saying he's got to get that concentration in the catch. He's got to get that movement going, because once you give him the ball, once he can free himself in a route, once he can fight through those jams, once he can become more physical enough in the core, once he can become a little more tougher over the middle, let's put it that way, the sky is the limit, because you give this guy the ball, he's gone. You give him the ball in space, he's gone, baby, gone. I mean, this guy, Trey Palmer, the sky is the limit if he can take it to the limit.
Kicking ass and taking names. That reminds me of Lon Phillip Sullivan's appearances here at the Voice of College Football right there. So you can catch him on LSU Odyssey and get prepared for just excellent LSU football coverage when you head on over there. Lon does his homework. He tracks down tremendous interview subjects and topics to get as in-depth as he possibly can regarding LSU football, both on and off the field, as we have seen in recent months. Lon, we appreciate you stopping by as always. We will want to have you back following the spring game to give us the breakdown and what you saw out there.
Mark, it's time to testify, brother. Go Tigers, baby.